Sorry about that, shipmates. I was trying to get the camera. It was doing one of its funny things again. So let me just get the positioning right. So sorry about this wobbliness around. Zoom a little bit. Let's check that's about right. Oh, there's the phone telling me it's time to start. So, evening all. How are we all doing? Evening, Jeremy. How are we doing? Let's get these bad boys on screen. There we go. There we go. A little bit of the there we go. How's that? I'll get it. Yeah, not too bad. As you know, I'm still a little bit blocked up. My ears ain't quite back to normal, but certainly getting there. Evening. How are we doing, shipmate? Yeah, certainly better than I'm feeling better than last week. I was surprised that I managed to last out a whole miniature last week. Okay, before I start painting, this week's victim is the Sea Wolves. Okay, so as you see from the card, these are a mercenary unit. I think you can use them. I'm not sure exact rules, but I think you can use them with everybody in the Aetius and Arthur book, apart from the Goths. But I just think they're cracking miniatures, so I wanted to paint them. This paint job is from Darren Lillington. I think if you look on their website, it's got it on there. So yeah, I'm just gonna crack some paint open. Get some paint on these bad boys. Yeah, so basically, these guys are pirates. So like the Aetius and Arthur pirate-y stroke Viking-y type dudes, aren't they, really? Ah, how we doing, mate? Glad you could join us. Welcome aboard. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better actually, Rich. It's just that annoying ear, sort of nosy and ear blockage, which you just got to wait for it to disappear, haven't you? Good, good, good. So we're just going to lay down some of our barbarian flesh to start with. Yeah, it's got a bit tight on time then. I thought I was going to miss the start, and then I'd forgot to set in settings which orientation to have the screen. So then it started being silly. But we got there in the end. I couldn't find because I was putting some pictures up on social media of some more cowboys I'd finished painting. Yeah, so my picked warband. Let's have a bit of a back seat as we threw ourselves into the wild, wild west. They're quite well. Actually, it's opposite, mate. They're actually quite an old miniature that I've always kind of liked. I painted them a few years back, and I enjoyed painting them for somebody that I know, and I thought I'd like to. I spotted them down Beastie Boys the other week, and I thought I'd like to give them another go. Yes, it's a mercenary band, basically. They're basically pirates, really, Dark Age pirates. Yeah, so seemed fitting. I should paint them, really. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm not sure what book they're in now, but they were in the original Aetius and Arthur book. Um, Basically, I think they're a 1 point mercenary unit. But the only thing I can really remember is you're not allowed to use them with Goths because, yeah, my friend had some, and I was painting some Goths at the time. Yeah, they look quite sort of Saxony kind of um, that sort of good work, Rich. This is the researcher for my channel is Rich. Any questions, obviously, that I can't answer, we'll just pass over to Rich. Um, it will come out with all the details on the chat room, which I'll read out for the people that are watching this back tomorrow. Yeah, I've noticed you can't always see the chat room on the replay. I'm not sure if you've not been in it. I don't know. And you're watching it as a replay. I don't know. Yeah, they're a good little set. I think they're obviously there's eight in the box, so I can't remember the stats. Whether they obviously count as warriors, I should think, rather than half guard. But they've probably got some super duper ability, like they can self activate or something like that. But you get some the Danax. Um, but yeah, I think the blister's £15. I think the 8 miniatures. That comes with the bases for Saga as well. So Yeah. Well, thank you, Rich. Yes, so for people who can't see the chat, Rich has checked it out for us, and they are now in the Age of Invasions book rather than the Aetius and Arthur. That's probably an old card in, because it was in a blister pack hanging on one of their racks. Um, it's not bad, is it? As soon as you've got the bases as well, and they're all metal, so you know. With the costs going up, they've managed to keep their prices as was, really, haven't they? Which is good. I'll have to have a look in Age of Invasions now to see what they're see if they're any good. See if the rules are still the same about the Goths can't take them. I don't know why. There's obviously probably is a proper historical reason why. But I'm not going to worry too much about it. We're just going to paint them because we like them. And I think that's kind of good enough, really. It gives me a quick refresh after painting all the pretty much entire range of Dead Man's Hand stuff. All right, so they've changed that because it used to be Goth. I know it used to be Goths. Makes sense, doesn't it? Can't really see these guys on horseback, can you? I'm just glad they're still in the rules somewhere because I'd have looked fairly silly painting them otherwise. Mm. Yeah, I think some. I, yeah, they've got to make their money, haven't they? You know, and sometimes certain figures will be dearer because they're not going to sell as many. But as long as everyone's been pretty reasonable about it. If something gets too expensive, I just won't buy it. Yes. So we use this as a colour guide, shall we? That's always fun. Let's get the chain. Let's get all the metal done. Where that flesh is drying, I'm just going to use the ordinary gunmetal. Use one of these old brushes. Bit of medium. That's A new subscriber was asking about the medium, which mix I tend to use it for everything. As we all know about the mixes, I think the main thing is if it's too thick, is just to water it back down. But hey. Soon we'll be able to try the new Army Painter stuff. Is it Army Painter Fanatic or something? I was watching another sneak preview to it the other day, and it does look good. So, yeah, it just helps a little bit if you've got a little bit of medium in that metallic, just to thin it out a little bit. Rich, I will do that. I've been meaning to do it for ages. Well, what I wanted to do was a how to make it, and kind of what its properties are and how I use it. So I had it in my mind to do it for absolutely ages. And you're right, I have to get around to doing it. But yes, there was a couple I wanted to get around to doing it. I've got like some front rank British Napoleonic kind of front rank, you know what I mean, the rank and file guys, the red coats. And I've done the test paints of them with speed paint, so I've got the recipe. Again, I'm just getting time to get down to make a video for it. So I know that'd be a popular one as well. The test paints come out really nice with it. And I thought, these Napoleonic guys will like a video on how to speed up painting rank and file for sure. Yeah, it's the way to do it, isn't it? It makes such a big difference. I mean, if one thing changed the way I paint overnight, it was making my own medium. It just changes the game, as it says. I know. I was speaking to actually someone at a convention the other week. He said, "Oh no, I use water," and I used to as well. But the difference, but I'll make the video, and then I can show the difference. That'll be the thing. Good evening, Kay. How are we doing? So, Rich, in the new age of Is it Age of Invasions? Yeah. In Age of Invasions, is there a longer bit to the description about these boys? Feel free to impart the knowledge to us, my friend. Because otherwise I'll have to stop and get the book out. I see I've got 8 to paint. I want to crack on in there. Yeah, as you see with the medium just thinning that metallic out a bit, it's just a bit easier to get it into the... Yes, you're right. Yeah. Using it, that's just letting the medium go into the little... Sorry, Rich, I'm stopping you doing whatever you're supposed to be doing, or whatever you were doing. Because I was going to check it out earlier, and I got carried away sticking Landschnecks together. I don't know what inspired me to do that. Oh, it's let me get it, show you on camera. I get it at Amazon. That's the one you want. PBO Studio Acrylics Gel Matte Medium. Yeah. This 250-gram one, because you can get a smaller one, just if you want to try it. But I use stacks of stuff. But that will... Even the amount of painting I do, and I use it for everything, that will last me 3 or 4 months. So, and that size is about, I think last time I bought it was $7.50. So if you compare that to a pot of Lamier medium, or even Army Painter medium, it's quite favourable. I've got some of the Army Paint medium over there. I got it in one of the sets I bought, and in fairness, it's good stuff. I can't knock it, and it's £2 a pot or whatever. But you know, if you're going to use a lot of it, I say if you don't think you're going to use a lot of it, I'd sort of say buy maybe the Army Painter one, give it a try, see how you get on, and then invest. But to be honest, for the £7, I think you'd be better off biting the bullet. And as Rich said, I will get the video made. Of how to make it, what to use it for, etc. It's quite interesting. It's got a lot of uses. Ah, okay. There you go. So they're basically a free roaming, self-activating bunch of mercenaries, bunch of pirates. Yarg. So then, who's got the most snow online then at the moment? We've got none. I saw some snow yesterday when I was in Sandbanks and Bournemouth, with the tiniest amount of dribblies of snow. Nothing settled, just in the air, but I've not seen any today. Oh, right, okay. So the bullies, excellent. Then in Birmingham. Yeah, I think people see a few flakes and get a little excited. I was saying it was yes. I think just one is just keeping the brush moist um, with the medium. See, I'm a strong believer in the word moist. I know, I know a lot of my friends late of the genteel persuasion don't like the word moist, especially when it's posted on your Facebook account for no apparent reason. So yes, moist. But I think it's a genuine word to use in fairness. Yeah. And I think just thinning the, especially metallics, they can get a bit thick. So thinning them just a little bit stops the destruction of fine detail, really. It's very true. Okay, very true. Yeah, it just feels so fitting to be painting sea wolves, you know, as described by Lord S earlier. Oh, the pirates. So yes, Pirate Rich is painting pirates. Yeah, it's happened. So again, we're obviously just looking for our usual sort of level of painting. So we're just going to get it done. So it's ready to use on the table. So we're going to use uh, the packet as a painting guide, but obviously I'm not going to go into massive details like there, but I'm going to get it to a stage where we could if we wanted to. So next I'm going to get Crusader skin. Speed paint 1. If I run out, I'll probably go to back to using a flesh wash. The new ones are slightly different. Although I'm not sure if you get Crusader skin in the new set. I don't know. They weren't in the set I bought, but probably do it still. Oh, got a bit much in there, so we're going to just dab it out. Wick it up. Oh, pardon me. So, what's everyone else working on at the moment? Yeah. Actually, I think yes, that'll be fine. Nice. Is that World War Two or? Highland. I picked up a packet of Highlanders to do another tutorial on. I might do a paint along with them. Some of the front rank ones. Ah, Jacobites. Hmm. Yeah, I do enjoy painting a bit of tartan. Yeah, all Napoleonic stuff. Oh, and some ogres. You've got a soft spot for those ogres, you, haven't you? You must have quite a few of those now. Because you just painted a batch last time we spoke, didn't you? That was the Mantic ones, wasn't it? So who's the what to, Karen? I was just reading out the list there, sort of all Napoleonic stuff, and then ogres. There used to be a game, didn't there, with they called Flintlock, wasn't it? With all orcs, etc. Flintlock. Had the orcs and that all dressed up as Napoleonic guys. Is it Heartbreaker miniatures, something like that? Excellent. Yeah, I've got a Kings of War ogre army over there, and it's all the old Games Workshop ones, you know, the big fat ones. And I painted them all with big sort of Landerschnicky type trousers. I think the general's up on the shelf. He's the guy riding the big mammothy thing. I would get it down, but it's probably very dusty. There we go. That's it. That's the one. Okay, let's start getting some colours. So let's start with our couple of red guys. I'm going to start with Abomination Gore. Wow. Don't know, they're quite... I think I managed to pick one up on a bring and buy sale somewhere. That's how I ended up with one. So I can just thin it down a bit. As you can see, it's partially see-through. So we're making use of our Xenophore undercoat. So I think, yeah, he's got him on like a leather tabard. So we do his sleeves. Yeah, this won't be the. This is just like the undercoat layer of red. Yeah, yeah, it's not. I've got to give in another one of those. Do you know the Lord of the Rings Oliphants? I already had one. I've just been given a second one. They're the same thing when you put them on the table. They look crazy. Okay, so let's do. He's got kind of a mauvey look to him. So let's repaint some of these plumes in red as well. Yeah, scratchboard is fun, isn't it? I mean, so I just picked up a new set of rules. What was it? What was it? The Doomed, I think. Another Osprey one. And it's kind of like a monster hunter, post-apocalyptic kind of game. And all the monsters in it are just build them, really. I'm just gonna do his under tabard in red. Now it's thinned, this red, I can sort of. It's quite interesting when they put the tabards and they put like another tabard underneath. you can just adds another layer of interest to it, you know, when you paint them different colours. But then again, for speed, you could paint them the same colour. It doesn't. Yeah, it's quite an interesting little set of rules. Basically, you have two gangs of basically monster hunters, really, for want of a better word, and you have the monster on the table as well. And I think, in general, I've not played it yet. I've just read a bit of it, and it looks to me like you're gonna have to kind of cooperate to take the monster out, and then stitch the other guy up, depending on scenario, I suppose. But it's quite interesting. The other set I picked up was called A War Transformed, which I think is going to be quite interesting, and hopefully I can do some work on some stuff for that on a Friday, which will be interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna one of the reasons I'm doing, like, following the this is a painting guide, is so we can look at, obviously, I think it's Darren Linnington's painting on that picture. He's got credit for it on the website, so presumably it's the same picture. But you know, he's done a real nice job on there, and I just thought it'd be fun to compare what we get in a short time to what you can achieve if you carry on going. It's a bit like when Karen paints and she takes her time and goes into just kind of tabletop ready, if you know what I mean. That's what people have got to be aware of. I think I've done his sleeves there. I should have done his under schmock thing. So what we do is we're painting the under schmock red as well, and we change the colour of his sleeves when they're dry. You could wash it off at the moment because it's still wet enough, but I trust the army painter paint enough that I'm going to be able to cover that when it's dry. So, or we could just give it like a purpley sleeve. That'd be nice, wouldn't it, Karen? We get some purple involved. Because if not, I'll be in trouble, won't I? There we go. Yeah, I did have a quick squiz at the rules, and it looked a little bit like, okay, I'm going to have to go and have a real good read of this one. But they looked interesting enough to get involved with anyway. That's what I thought. Okay, so let's get some blue going. You had a quick look at the Space Weirdos as well. It reminded me of something else we used to play. I can't remember what it was. That's interesting. Slightly lighter blue than his. So we can use a nicer dark blue wash on it. This is the Viking blue. Yeah. It's quite good, in fairness. Last couple of weeks, one of our sons visited from Stoke. He's a gamer, so we had like lots of game going on. So I took one of my sons to Warfare. We bought we showed you, didn't we, the He-Man stuff. So we had a couple of games of that. Which was the rule set surprised me, in fairness. I thought it was just going to be like a throwaway. Well, I suppose it is in a way, but I thought the rule set would be a bit pants, but it was actually very, very good. And then we had lots and lots and lots of games of Dead Man's Hand. Which is a very enjoyable little game, really. We just backed their Kickstarter to get the new one. Well, it's more of a 1.5 than a 2, as it's been said. So it's going to hit his leggings with this blue. Yeah, it's a good question. I we spoke about this sort of. I think the game developers now have come up with like a kind of a standard kind of rule set, haven't they? Really, if you think about all the skirmish games, because I was thinking that I used to struggle to play more than one different game, you know. And now, if I grab a skirmish game, you're away with quick script through the rules. Like Rich said, a decent cheat sheet, and you're away. Not so much the bigger rule games, but the skirmish ones are very, very. I think samey is the wrong word, but um, there's certain standards that happen in each set now, isn't there? And it'd just be a different theme on a. Do you know what? I think you guys know what I mean. So let's take Saga, for instance. The way you do the actual mechanics with the dice, the fighting, is a pretty standard way that all a lot of the other games will do the standard fighting. The complexity comes in, and the flavour of the game comes in with the boards and the special Saga dice. Because to be honest, well, how many different ways can you count up how many d6s you need to roll, etc. Yeah, I mean, it's quite a good example of what Osprey do. But I suppose another good example is like that the He-Man game you played. It was fairly kind of basic, and then all the special abilities were on like their character cards, and that's a bit like Saga, isn't it? So all the all the warriors do the same, all the half guard do the same, blah blah blah, and then their warband specific rules that go on the battle boards are how they make the game, really. So this brown I'm using here, I'm decided to use. I don't usually use this for leather. This is the Vallejo Flat Earth, and I like how matte it goes. So I thought that'd be interesting, and I could do the leathers in a different of a leather in a different color. Uh, Sharp Practice. That's the Lardy's one, isn't it? I've got all the miniatures ready for it, and I've never actually played it. Um, uh, Obviously, Saga. I've introduced a lot of people to Saga recently. Um, live just around the corner from me, so I've always got guys to play. And within the hour, yeah, you've cracked it. I think well within an hour. It's a very it's a very good entrance level game. I think a gateway game. Yeah, the basic rules are very simple, isn't it? And then just I think it's a little bit confusing because you need the factions book, and you need the card, and you don't actually need the dice, but I advise people to get the dice because it's, I think, A, it adds flavour, and B, it takes it takes a little tiny complexity out of the game of working out which dice is which. And I've actually made my own, because you can get the little icons to print out. I think they're on Studio Tomahawk's website. But be warned, it took me all afternoon to make 2 sets of dice. Now, if that's, and then of course you need the blank dice to start with. So, for the cost of the dice from Gripping Beast, I'd say after after spending a frustrating afternoon making some that don't look as good, I'd buy them. I've also had a friend who 3D printed some for me, because you can find some naughty files that way. But in fairness, when I rolled them, I wasn't convinced they were very very good. They seem to be rolling a lot of the same thing, but hey ho. Good evening, Nick. How we doing, shipmate? Yeah, as you know, I'm on the tail end of mine, so I feel for you, mate. I think me and the rest of the country, because it seems to be the thing. But hey ho. As you see, mate, this is the mercenary unit for Saga called the Sea Wolves. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Sea Wolves. It's not in the 8.5 book, and ah, sorry to hear that, mate. Yeah, cheers, Rich. Yeah, it's not in age. As Rich said, it's not in 8.5 anymore. It's in Age of Magic. We're kind of using the packet as a rough paint guide. I'm changing some of the colours, but I want them to look a little bit brighter, as is my will. I've got to brighten these up a bit. All right. Yeah, I mean, if you get stuck with what I did with Saga as well, as I bought some 6 mil. No, it's 10 mil. Do you know the little 10 mil guys? I picked up some of those and based them on pennies for the troops and 2p's for the warlords. And I used 2p's for cavalry as well. And then I made Pocket Saga. So just when it's basically because I was trying to learn the Age of Magic rules. So I wanted lots of different kind of fantasy stuff. So I've got like 10 mil, I've got an undead, I've got an orc, etc. All on pennies and 2p's. And then in the painting room, I put one of the small tables up. And you scale everything down. So yeah, kind of worked. It's all right when you're just playing through something on your own, but it doesn't beat getting the pretty toy soldiers out. Or sometimes when we played tested stuff in the past, we just used MDF tokens really. But again, it kind of lacks that flavour then, doesn't it? Okay, so we're going to do some. Let's use Crypt Wraith. It's very similar to the Dark Angel, not Dark Angel, called Angel Green. That was a Freudian slip, wasn't it? Yeah, I think, yeah, it's like horses for courses, isn't it? You can use different scales to be advantageous, can't you? Especially if you're pushed for space. I mean, really, when I was practicing that Age of Magic stuff, I was doing it solo as well, so it was a bit of a pickle to use a big table and big miniatures and all that sort of stuff. I wanted to be able to get all the cards in one place and etc. etc. So say I'm just filling that out with the matte medium again. Yeah, I grabbed a couple of packets of the Griffin Beast ones as well. They do the little scale stuff just to add the Parthians, um, some Romans, and all, so you can. Especially in Age of Magic, you just make like use them forever you want, really. I was going to get some of the more of the Romans and paint them with green skin. So you got Roman style orcs. I thought that'd be a really cool idea. Okay, so I'm going to go off piste a little bit with some of these colours now. Got the bases of his colour scheme going on. Just use that green nice and thin. Which is cool. Yeah, hopefully by next week my cold will be totally gone and my brain will start working. I won't say properly because, in fairness, I've gone past hoping for that. But at the capacity I was working at, it's still a little bit woolly at the moment. So I'm just going to drop. It's going to be blue. I've got a couple of blue ones. Let's drop a dark blue one in, shall we? Yeah, I mean, you've got those plastic ones, didn't you? So, I mean, to be honest, you're most of the way there, aren't you, with those sets? The other one I came across the other week, I did. Can I paint? How quick can I paint the Dark Age archers? And I think a point of Dark Age archers, I think they're a tenner. And I was at the convention and I just could. I was stood at their stall saying to people, it's almost silly not to buy them. And this guy goes, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, when you're ordering something else, you might as well buy a packet of those as well for a tenner. Because at some point, you're going to need a point. The other week, we needed to put an extra point of Vikings out. And we didn't have any. And I grabbed some Saxons, I think, and used them as some levy or something. And I thought if I'd have had the point of levy archers then, I could have just grabbed them. See what I mean? So they're just so handy to have about. And for a tenner, it's just like, and they come with the bases as well. And you're thinking, really, is that all? And to be honest, if you bought there's a full box of them, they work out even cheaper. But yeah, I think the 1 point for a tenner is, I think the box is 20 or something. But that's got I think it's got the sword point bases in. Yeah, and there's other things as well with Saga. It's like you can start with a few figures, so like the 4 point starter box gets you going, but it's not that difficult to add on to them, is it? So even like when you get up to 6 points, it's still only a couple. It's only what it could be like a minimum of what, 8 miniatures. Yeah. Oh, get yourself some cross. Oh, Saga, you have to get some crossbowmen because crossbowmen are very. They're like little tanks walking across the table with machine guns. They make me laugh. Oh, sorry. Yeah. A friend of mine always has the Normans, and I always, whenever he plays the Normans, I always throw the Welsh at him. Well, let's use our. I put troll claws out, but elven flesh. Yeah, gotta love a crossbow. Elven flesh makes a great. If you haven't heard me set before, all the old films like Ben Hur and stuff like that, their tabards remind me of this elven flesh, how it comes out of the pot. That, see what I mean? I'm Spartacus. You know what I mean? The Hollywood Roman tabard, and I just can't resist when I'm going to use some on a tabard. Yeah, there's some strange things that amuse me. That's just one of them. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it, when you find a paint that's like supposed to be a flesh color and it's good for something else. You almost feel naughty using it. I'm using it wrong. Yeah, teach them for calling it elven flesh, wouldn't it? Really? I think somebody should have trousers in that color. Yes, very interesting. Yeah, so we're number count. We had quite another few this week, so I think we're on 800 and something now, which is kind of feels like we're kicking past 800 and right, let's go and get 900. They just feel like a cool thing, really. So let's get some beige, Banshee brown, Lindy beige. Everyone loves Lindy beige. Love Lindy beige videos. When you're not watching me, watch. And Karen, don't forget kits for Karen. Got to watch that. But when not, give Lindy beige a watch. Oh, sorry everybody. My phone's decided I needed to be text for some reason. Oh, that'd be amazing if it's Lindy beige. I'd be a right fanboy. If anyone knows him, tell him he's awesome for me. Because I just love his videos. Yeah. I mean, you can use anything you like with Saga. I'm just one of those guys that, you know, if it's Saga, I'm going to use Griffin B stuff. If it's Dead Man's Hand, I'm going to be using Great Escape Game stuff. I do what it says on the tin, really. You could, but in fairness, I've done some armies where people have mixed in other makes of miniatures. You know what I mean? Like they put like Footsaw in with Griffin Beast stuff to change it up a bit. Is that Lindy Beige? What videos or actually him himself? Yeah, so very good. I think at one point I binge watched and I kind of caught up with everything he'd done, and then I went to start watch something else, and then I must go back and watch some more because you know he'd done a fair few since then. But I do like his approach to stuff. Very straightforward and honest speaking guy, really. Yeah. So beiging some stuff up. It's just got to have Metal done. Oh, for an hour and 20 minutes. It's interesting, mate. I'd give him a try. I think he might be one of those guys that you might love or hate, though. He's quite. I think that I like his level of common sense. His common sense approach to stuff is really good. So sometimes you listen to in a historian say something about something, you're thinking, really? That something don't sound right there. And if he has that feeling, he'd say, well, this doesn't sound right. I think it's this. Or evidence points to this. Which is quite nice. He's done a lot about shield walls and stuff like that as well. And tanks. If you like tanks. There we go. So is he coming up to an hour and 25 minutes we're in. And we're coming up to a point now where they're nearly all the base layers done. Using Bristol, okay. These are these cheapy little brushes. I ran out of army painter ones. Yeah, give him a go. Don't forget to tell him Pirate Rich sent you. Okay, let's see how we're getting it on. Making good progress, I feel. So I saw the base kind of layers on. So now we can start putting a few washes or tones, as army painter call them. We'll do that next. So let's start with blue. And I'm just gonna match up all the colours like we do. Add a little bit of medium. just a brush load at a time, just to, you can adjust the strength of tone as it's going on. That's why I used a slightly lighter blue. Oh, sorry, was I off camera there a little bit? Yeah, so what I'm doing with that blue is run it straight over the top. And because I use that lighter blue, it's going to take it down a tone maybe as it sits into the grooves. See what I mean? So that's why we started with a lighter blue. And I think as well it gives a better contrast between the blue as it settles into the grooves. Giving it a bigger contrast. Okay. I'm not doing anything special, I'm not trying to put it avoid putting anywhere on the blue. I'm just letting it go over the whole lot. And these are the darker blue ones. We're still hitting it with a tone. So it will go a bit darker. It will have give us a nice effect. So again, we're looking for sort of tabletop ready. We're not looking for display pieces, but you know, it's a use of time, so put a little bit more time in it, make them slightly better, then decide where to stop. Remember, we're painting the whole armies, we're not painting for display. If always I would be layering these up slower using thinner paints. So that's all our blues done. Let's get our green tone out. Again, just a little bit of medium into your brush. Keeps that tone running out of the brush nice and smooth. It's quite dark green anyway, we've used this, so that's pretty cool. Just adding it a little brush at a time, the medium. Just allows to keep control of the thickness of your wash. There we go. Just all you've got to watch out for this, really, these tones, if something's puddling up way. I'm using quite heavy washes because again all over, but you can be quite delicate with them really. But because we're doing like we're letting all these washers do our heavy lifting for us really. Which is one, this is the one that had the funny sleeves. So we're just gonna run a layer of beige to start. Reclaiming from the red. This won't cover in one, so say we do beige, then we're put like an off-white over it. Guess we can. Just to prove stuff can be fixed. Okay. Have a slurp of my drink. Right, let's see what we're going to do next. We've got a red tone, haven't we? Oh, that's running a bit low. Oh. Have a good walk, mate. We'll see you again. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, don't forget to, if you're not subscribed to Grandad's Art Space, he's got a groovy little channel. It's worth having a quick peek. Just hitting, yeah, Grandad's Art Space. Oh, pardon me, I've now burped. I've now burped on camera. How impolite's that? Yeah, it's quite cool. A little bit too much red in those recesses. Just take a little bit, wick a little bit out. He's got no red on him. He's got no red on him. You got red on you. Sean, you got red on you. Ah. Wild Wayne TV. Welcome aboard, shipmate. Yeah, they're coming on. Let's see what the clock says where we're at the moment. See how many minutes we've spent. 1 hour 35. We're on at the moment. So yeah, for that time frame, I think we're doing all right. Yes, I'm sorry if I'm still a bit Darth Vadery whilst I'm talking to them in the microphone. See, I'm still a little bit bunged up. So So we've put all the base colours on. Just putting some tone on. There's a bit of a head start. If you didn't see from the title Wild Wayne, WWTV, we're doing these guys tonight. Saga, Aetius and Arthur, which is now Age of Invasions. Seawolves. So basically, Dark Age pirates. Oh yeah. So next we're going to grab some dark tone, which is, as we say, and we know on this channel, it's quite strong. So we're going to put a drop of medium in it, and maybe a drop into our brush just to keep it under control a bit. Yeah, they're nice miniatures. They're fun to paint. Yeah. So we're taking these up to sort of tabletop standard, but kind of leaving them open to go higher if you want to. And that's the important thing. Is I think sometimes we get to a point that's all right, and we can actually carry on. I've done videos where we actually carried on, you know, and put the extra stuff in. But I think it's important to try and get stuff finished and get it on the table. Get people's lead mountains down, piles of shame, whatever you want to call them, retirement ferns, inheritance, whatever you want to call it. But I think having a bit more of it painted, it's got to be a good thing. Even if it means you can use it as an excuse to buy more. Yeah, so I'm just hitting the black, well, dark tone into anywhere where I've done the metal. And the other way you can do the metal really is the old paint it black first. Because remember, we Xenophil undercoated these. If they were black undercoated, you could. It's going to give you a plus on this on the metallics, but obviously the colours you have to work harder with. So I think it gives you a nice happy medium light. And if you're into using like contrast or speed paints, just swap out the grey for white on your Xenophil. That works. I think speed paint is more down to, it's not a product, it's how your workflow is organised. So, you know, I've got a lot of the miniature at the moment is that I'm painting is dry. As you can see, the washes, or all the other washes are drying off at the moment. So, because we're batch painting, hopefully by the time we finish doing this, the first colour's dry and we can crack on with the miniature itself. so we're not actually waiting around waiting for stuff to dry, which I think is more important than the product's workflow is, yeah. Answer for painting quick. That's what I think anyway. I might be wrong. I'm only a pirate. Hey, what do I know? So yeah. So some of this gunmetal we're going over is going to look a little dark because obviously this black's quite strong. We have watered it down a little bit, but it's still quite a strong tone. It's not a strong tone, it's dark tone, but it's strong, if you know what I mean. So we can brighten up at the end with a bit of silver highlighting. That's why I do it this way around. Gives me control of where I want the metal to shine and when I don't want it to shine. The other tone you can use that's quite interesting, instead of using the black, if you want it to look, if you want the if you want it to look a little bit dirty and rusty, if you swap out the dark tone for strong tone, which is the black with brown mixed into it, you get kind of a muddy, rusty, oily look. So that's interesting. So I've had a bit of black scoot into his face there, so I'll put a little bit of water on there just to make sure that, just make sure it's not happened anywhere else. No, we're all right. We're going to go back in the face with a bit more flesh tone anyway. So that's all the bright colours done. So what we do now, we're going to get some soft tone. Which is like the strong tone but without the black in it. So the dark tone, which is black, added to the soft tone will give you strong tone. Not to be confused with light tone, which is a brown, but it's a sepia based one, which is really interesting for different stuff. But I digress. So we're going to put some of our medium into our soft tone because I want it to be quite watery, so we don't get any big massive tea stains. And this area there, that the kind of leathery sheepskin kind of thing, we're going to put it into there. As you see, I've watered it down. It's going on quite thin. I'll show you on my thumbnail. There we go. How thin that's gone. So even going over this, show you on this fawn colour. See how it's just sitting into the, you can see it in the grooves, and it's hardly making a difference on the surface. So it might take it down a little tone, but you're not going to get massive amounts of tea staining if you used it pure. A bit like the Agrax Earthshade. If you use that pure, you'll get tea staining with it. Put a little bit of medium in your brush, whatever, and you're going to get like a nice, almost like doing a glaze almost, I suppose. It shows up really well on the beige of their duck trousers there. Look. To be honest, I don't mind if it does tea stain a little tiny bit, because you know it's just going to make them look a bit muddy. That's cool. I'm cool with that. And it's tabard. You could have used the light tone with that, so you got the sepia working. But again, I wanted to look a little bit dirty. And for that tabard there, that's the elven flesh one, which is crazy good for a tabard colour. There we go. Just don't want it on that big flat section there, so I'm just going to wick it away a bit with the brush, move it somewhere else. Again, come across that beige. As you see, it's not kind of strong enough to affect the beige too much, but it's just sitting in the grooves, like really how we want it to work. So by just making it a little bit thinner, it's going to work better for you. I think all these army painted paints work better with a little bit of medium in them. Which, as Rich said earlier, I will make a video for as soon as I can. See, we don't want it sitting like that, so what you do, take the medium out of your brush and just wick it up the brush there. See it going. Let's wipe some on the base there. A little bit too much in that groove. Watch out for little bubbles. That little bubble, just zap it. If you leave one of the bubbles there, what happens is the bubbles dry in the tone, and you end up with these little burst bubbles, and it looks horrible. So if you see one, just take the tone out your brush and wick it away. You're getting quite tone heavy at the moment, so hopefully it's because it's not very warm in here at the moment, so the tones are taking a little bit of time to dry. Not that we have to use a hairdryer. If you're going to use a hairdryer or a blow dryer or whatever, when you're using tones, be very careful, because you don't want to blow them out of the grooves they're in. See how that blue's working for us there? Nice. After all, if you get a little bit too much tone on there and you get the tea stain in, it's not a problem, because you just go back in with a little bit of paint and sort it out. Nice. Yeah. Let's see, where are we? 1 hour 49. So coming up just 2 hours. And they're not far off kind of tabletop standard, if you know what I mean. Whatever you want to call it. Well, they're not far off being usable, if you know what I mean. Yeah, if you use a bit of medium in it, and just be careful when you put the tone on. If it's in a large flat area, it's always going to tea stain. So put it on, leave it a minute or so, go back with a clean dry brush, then just wick it away. You know what I mean by wick it? Where you just dab your dry brush on and it'll suck it up the brush, basically. That's what it's called by wicking. It's just a term I heard and my missus likes wicking it away. So then you'll be all right. And if it's a problem, if you miss some and it becomes a problem, just go back and paint over it when it's dry. What you don't want to do is try and do that when the tones, oh sorry, not the camera. Once the tone's starting to dry, you got to leave it, otherwise it buggers up. I can't think of a better description. So next we're going for Basilisk Brown. I can do wooden weapons with this. Now we discovered the other week, when you put this in the light box, this Basilisk Brown looks really yellow. Let's see what this light's like tonight. So I like it because it looks like almost like a piney, yellowy brown baby diarrhea. Yeah, but for me it works as like almost like a pine haft. You know what I mean? You see it there, can't you? When you put that into the light box, it looks yellow. So the other week when I'd done all those arches on the live paint along, the next day I took a picture of them in the light box and put it up on the Facebook, and people going, "Oh look, they're all holding bananas," and it did look a bit like that because I think in the light box the light box will pick the yellow, the very light colour out. You're more than welcome, mate. Yeah, especially whites in the light box. The whites kind of glow up. I think it's the same on these ones that have got a lot of yellow in them. But hey ho. You can tone this down a bit with a bit of soft tone, or even the dark tone. Sorry, the strong tone, the brown one. The other thing this paint is very good for is because it's like a yellowy brown. It's good for the base colour of blonde hair, which is what we're going to use it for as well. Yeah, it's a nice little blister, this one, isn't it? You know what I mean? Sea wolves. Yeah, it needs a lot of shaking, Rich, and that medium. Yeah. So in fairness, once you've shaken it up, I know it sounds a little bit weird, but when you put some medium in it, it seems to work better. There's probably some weird chemical science-y going on there that is beyond my pay grade. I just know it works because that covers fine. And it's just shaken up a lot. Drop of medium in it. Boom. The one thing army paints need is a lot of shaking. I don't know about the new ones. They look quite interesting, but as for these original war paint ones, You have to shake the bejesus out of them. Cheers. Thank you, Rich. I will make the video. Hey, perhaps I shouldn't hold fire on painting those Landerschnecks and make a video instead. What do you think? Okay, we're going to go back and do some gold effects on some of these other metals. Just to make so like belt buckles and hilts of swords. And... Ahoy, Kev! How are you doing, mate? This is just the greedy gold. We're gonna just do some bits and bobs with those, just to grab the attention of people's eyes. Make it visually interesting. Sometimes just a little spot of colour somewhere will just grab somebody's eye, you know what I mean? Oh, sorry, Kev. We're painting these guys, Sea Wolves, point mercenary unit for Saga. It used to be the aetius and half a book. As Rich found out for us, it's in the age of invasions. No, Joe, I said age of adventure. God, that's a blast from the past. Years ago, I wrote a live role playing game, and that's called Age of Adventure. God, that would have been about what 20 plus years ago now. So yeah, so these are basically pirates, really. The sea wolves. Yeah, pretty interesting. Don't really know the history behind this, or whether it's just a game thing. They look quite I want to say Saxony, you know what I mean? So maybe like the later Saxons, I don't know, or even there's definitely some Norse in there, or maybe they're a mixture. Still painting those Arabs. Oh my God, get on with it, man! For heaven's sake, what are you doing? Wasting your time talking to me? No, in fairness, waste your time talking to me. Get those Arabs done. Well, I wasn't concentrating it. I just went off the edge there. Ooh. So just wet my brush back, just take the gold off the silver there. There we go. It's because I'm using that pants brush. Let me grab one that's slightly less pants. These are just really, really cheapy brushes I'm using, so. So I run out my usual army painter ones. So if army painter are watching, I'm plugging you like mad. How about sending me some brushes? I get you. I've got the historical King's War. You're right. They give you the formula in there, don't they, for working out your own army and stuff, which is quite nice. All good fun. Yeah. Well, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it, really? So when you're painting, picking out details like this, the most important thing is getting the load on your brush right. So you don't want it. Ooh. So just plug my phone in. It's going to run out of batteries. I forgot to plug it in. Oh, it's down to 15%. If I disappear, hopefully I'll caught it in time. But if not, sorry. Should be right now, it's plugged in. Schoolboy error. Where was I? I've now forgotten exactly what I was saying. Oh yeah, painting, picking out detail without painting over other stuff. So yeah, get your paint to the right consistency is important, and then paint load is important. If you've got not enough in there, you're gonna it's dry. It's gonna have to go over and over and over and over again. So you want it just right, and that's where practice comes in. Really, not so bad if you're doing edge highlighting because you can use the edge of your brush then. But this literally is about not pressing your brush down too hard. That makes sense. It's just letting the paint flow off your brush into where you want it. That is the $1,000,000 question, Kev. Well, I spoke to one of my friends about a lot. I like to multi-base for Kings of War. Just be aware they've minimum model counts, isn't it? I think it's the way forward with those. Because when we first played it, we used to make sure that all the models that were supposed to be on there were on there, and sometimes it makes the base just so crowded. Some things it looks good. It's like if you're doing a legion of goblins, bugging them all on one base looks horrendously funny and well worth doing. Whereas Other things just look better if they're spaced out. But at the end of the day, it's got to be what looks right to you and what you like, because they're your miniatures, no one else's. And if anyone ever tells you you're wrong, they're wrong. Tell them to sod off. I love seeing everyone's miniatures. You know what I mean? Love it. You can always learn something from someone else. Somebody will always paint something slightly different to you in a different way. By no means am I telling people, when I'm doing this channel, I'm not telling people you must paint like this. I'm just showing you how I'm painting. How you paint is entirely up to you. If you can find one thing that I do that you like and you add it into your process, I love that. That's brilliant. But don't ever hear from anyone that says you must paint this way, because it's just a load of rot. I love it when we're doing this. That's why I like doing this live one so much, because people can say, oh, what are you doing that for? And I can tell you what I'm doing something for. And if you agree with it and add it to your toolbox, brilliant. If you think, oh, I can't be asked to do it that way, I'm going to carry on doing it the way I'm doing it, that's equally as good. At least you've listened and thought about it. So the answer to your question, Kev, the best way to base your Kings of War miniatures is the way that you like them. If you want to have more on separate bases, do that. If you want them on a multi-base, have them on a multi-base. If you want to use movement trays, use movement trays. Whatever you like. I just like the reason I like multi-base in them is I like the idea of picking up a big load of miniatures at once and moving them all at once and go boom. You know, when you got like a legion of gobos and they're all on the same base, and you pick them up and they're just a massive footprint on the table and just boom. I think that's great. I love it. It does speed the game up as well. So obviously moving all those gobos separate is a labour of love. Oh no, they're not on the shelf at the moment. They were living up on the shelf at one point. They've gone back into the box. I got a legion of night gobos. I just love them. They got charged by a dragon last time we played Kings of War. The dragon nearly came to a sticky end. But eventually did kill all the gobos, in fairness. Which is exciting and different. Texture base for fracture bases. I've used it. I assume you're talking about the GW texture paint. Yeah. Like sterling mud and that sort of thing. In the past, I've used it. How I base now is, as you see on these guys, this is just pomace. I did use Vallejo pomace, the black one, but I managed to find the guys that I buy the medium from, Pebio, whatever they are. they do a pomace as well, and theirs hasn't got a colour in it, so it's like this neutral colour. Okay, yeah, they're good. I just, as I say, I just like this one because I can choose what colour I'm going to paint it. You can still with the Valleos as well and the AK stuff, but because I'm starting from a neutral place, it just works better for me. Let's grab you the pot so you can see the one I get. This is from Amazon. I get this. This is about tenner. It's a slightly bigger pot than the AK, than the Vallejo one. So it's a couple of quid cheaper as well. But it's got no colour to it, so you have to paint it. But I can't see any problem with the other stuff's good as well. So, or I've got a other pot as well. I've got ready-made kind of polyfiller, and I just add brown to that and make it like a mud. Put a bit of grit in it, that sort of thing. That works well. Use that for like when I'm doing tanks. And WW2 stuff. I'm sure it'd be used when I do a war transform that I'm doing like World War One stuff. So okay, I've gone back to Basilisk Brown now to give the. These bodies are going to be blonde. At least some of them are. Keep Gaming, yeah, they're good stuff. I've done a lot of the Beastie Boys miniatures with Keep Gaming stuff. I'll just say is make sure you read the description and make sure the packets you're buying of that are enough to do what you need to do with it, because they do different sized packets, and if you buy the wrong sized one you're going to run out. That's all I'd say about those. But yeah, their stuff very good. And Luke, even though he's now stopped doing the videos, his videos are very good as well. I'll do, guys. He's a great bloke. Shame he got a bit jaded by it all. I think he turned it into a job too much. I don't know. I wouldn't like to speculate, even though I was speculating there. Bit of a shame. But he's got to make his choice. His choice was to start off. Good job is, well, it's nice that his, I think his family are running most of the Geek Gaming stuff now. The other guy you can watch, Kev, for is the Terrain Tutor. He's very good as well, and he makes all of his own stuff as well. I think Annie's got some new stuff as well. Kraut something or other. Oh God, what's it called? Kraut cover, I think. Holy Diver is good. What, the Dio album? Sorry, chaps. You see those tones are really starting to dry out now. So we'll be able to go on to the next bit in a minute. Yeah, night Nick, thanks for dropping by, mate. So as soon as they're done tomorrow, I'll get them up on, get them in the light box. Get to check them out. So they've got 3 shields because the rest have got either 2 weapons or double-handed weapon. So what I'll do now, we're going to swap to our secret weapon, which is Burnt Umber Model Air Vallejo. Why is it our secret weapon? Ha ha ha! Because you can pretty much use it for every brown. So I'm going to pick out. This is why I use the other lever. La. The word didn't come out right there because I was still concentrating on the last one. Yeah, so we used the flat Vallejo for the sheepskinny leather because I knew that I could use this to do the leather strapping. I did consider doing it black, but I think it's a bit more interesting in brown. Yeah, it's quite an interesting paint, this burnt umber. There certainly are, mate. I mean, the other way is to go to a somewhere like the range. I've just been basing loads of Wild West guys, and I bought a big. I think it was from. What's the one that's gone bankrupt? Not the range, the other one. Oh, which what are they called, Rich? Well, basically, like a pound store, something like that, and you could buy budgie grip. Uh, that's got like little bits of shell in it, and also that makes it more interesting. So I quite often go to DIY shops and pound shops. Wilco's. Cheers, Ralph. Yes, they were from the Wilco's. Yeah, I think it was budgie grip. I also bought goldfish gravel. Oh, it's different colours, but that don't matter. So you just chuck it on and paint it, which is basically, if you look at geek gaming stuff, um, and watch some of Luke's videos, it's basically what he did. Is he just looked for the right stuff. Um, that's quite interesting too. And it does work out a lot cheaper. So when you buy these little tubs of slate from hobby places, it's easy just to go and buy a slate from somewhere and smash it up yourself. Just wrap it before you smash it. And if you need smaller bits, smash it some more. All right, okay. I didn't even know that you got chinchilla dust. Is it like fine sawdust? All right. Wow. Every day is a school day, innit? Now I know. So is it because they got quite fine fur, haven't they? So it keeps their fur nice, I suppose. Yeah. So I'm not a chinchilla expert at all. There's somebody making. Yeah, cheers, Cap. Thanks for dropping by, Kev. Get those arrows painted. Just said we're using our special weapon, secret weapon. It's brown because you can do so much with it. It speeds the process up a bit, which is good. doing? 2.5 hours. This one, the geezer's going to have a shield on him. Yeah. I think, it's a mercenary unit. You can put a bit of extra work into these guys. Again, and like Saga, because you did a mercenary, you use it with more than one warband. That's kind of cool. So just picking out that extra detail. So we're getting to that point where you've got to make a decision whether you're going to go on and push them up to the next level, or if you're going to say, yeah, they're done, they're good enough at the table. Do you know what I mean? By the time you've done like a nice job on the base there and a nice shield, need to sort the gold out. It's a bit shiny at the moment. Let's do that next. Let's see. Next, we're going to use, for the gold, some flesh wash. This is a particular favourite of mine. So, anybody that's got any gold on them is going to get some flesh wash. I'll try and stack as much flesh wash onto this gold as you can. It wouldn't really hurt if you go over a little bit, but try and be as neat as you can as well. Anywhere there's that gold, this is going to take the gold down a few tones, make it look that sort of bronzy, coppery sort of look. So give that sort of antique-y look. And if it goes on to the silver there, it doesn't matter, it just looks a little bit like dirt, a little bit rust. Patina is the name I'm looking for. You can give it some patina. But look at how shiny that is in there. Just dollop a load of flesh wash on it. I mean, it looks like I've gone mad and it's too much, but honestly, tea stain on there is your friend on this particular way. So I don't want it getting too much on his hand, but I don't want it getting a bit on the blade. If you look at that ridge going across the top, can you see how that? So that's at the front where I've done it. That's how it is at the back where I haven't done it. Front, back. Makes a big difference. But you've got to load it in there. Be brave. Be brave, shipmates. It'll all be okay. Look at the neck collar there I've given him. Load it on there. It's going to get into all that detail. Let's look around his hat as well. His hat, or his helmet even. It doesn't matter if it goes a bit in the silver. It's just going to add a little bit more interest. Because it look a little bit dirty, patina, rust, whatever you want to call it. Okay, look at the shiny sword on the end there. Okay. It's going to be really quite tricky to put it on this stuff. So what you do is just let it load your brush up and just let the just touch down ever so gently on the gold bits, and the wash will find it. If you go too heavy, it'll go into the silver. It's not be a disaster, but if we've gone quite careful, at least it's not be too much of it. Okay. This guy, he's got someone that cross guard. Let's have a look at his helmet. So that's before. Right, let's look at the front. That's well loaded on there. On the back, nothing. When that dries, it'll be perfect. And it looks like there's too much on there, but trust. Because then we can go back in. So that's going to dull that gold right off. And then we go back in with a really bright gold. That's the greedy gold. And there's one called bright gold, which we can go back in with. Next, we're going to use Citadel colour, Cassandra yellow. It's the yellow that's out there on the market, and it is awesome, especially on top of basilisk brown for hair. So just again, loading it quite heavy. See the back of his hair at the moment is just that basilisk brown, and this wash is actually kind of an orange, yellowy orange. There we go. That will look wicked when it dries. just gonna zap that into all the blonde hair. Again, you can go load as much of that as you can in there, because you want it really sitting into that, like the plaits and the detail in the hair. Normally I'd say make sure you wick it off, not too much, but there's certain times you can really get it in there. So you see there's still bits and pieces to do on these. Definitely getting close to be finished. I've got to do the eyeballs yet, then go back in and do the flesh. Then I'll start highlighting some of the colours out. So I'll probably give them another hour maybe. So that'd be what, 2 hours 38 tonight. So say that's 3 hours. So I'd easily spend another hour on those, just basically taking the highlights up. So you're looking at maybe 4 hours to do 8 miniatures, which is pretty nifty, if you ask me. Let's have a look at what we've got and go through each one, saying what we'd need to do to what I finish, and then call it night tonight, because my nose is really starting to block up and I'm gonna sound like Darth Vader soon. So let's have a quick look. So obviously eyeballs got to be done, flesh has got to be highlighted, horn, maybe touch up the highlights on there a bit, and obviously the base and his leg ties. All the fur still needs doing around the edges there, but that's just an off-white. So see, these are real basic paint jobs really, but once they were based, I think you could get away using them as is. And say for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, what I'd do tomorrow before I go Landerschnecken, I'll finish these off. I might do a little bit more tonight, but I'm really struggling to talk now. But yeah, he's a really nice miniature, that one. Like that one. I love the way the tabard's folded over the top of the chainmail. It's really cool. So these have been the sea wolves. Once they're finished, I will stick them in the light box, and you'll be able to find them on Facebook and X and Blue Sky. So we get those finished off and do some photographs of them. So yeah, that's been the Saga Sea Wolves 1-point mercenary unit. We didn't quite get to the finished standard on there, but we're not far away, especially because you'll just spend a bit more than 2.5 hours on those, in fairness. And it shows, but say from the distance the camera is away from them now, I think now you'll get away with those. Cheers, Rich. I shall cut you all loose for now, so I can save what's left of my voice. Thank you for joining me. Cheers, Ralph. Thank you for joining me, mate. And if you're watching this back and you haven't subscribed and liked and hit the notification bell, please do. It really helps out. if you can invite your friends to do it as well, and have a real good push, and see how many we can get by Christmas, and then yeah, let's take a chunk out of this. Was it 190 odd? And then we're at the 1,000. Let's see if we can really push on and become a big crew. Okay, and guys, well, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, I'll get these finished up and looking pucker, and get some photographs of them. And yeah, we're yes, Rich. I'll have a go at making that video for the for the medium, little short one, and yeah. So we'll see you again soon, guys. Thank you for joining me, and good night to all. Cheers, shipmates.